Funko has been creating Pops since 2010, and within that time, they've recreated a lot of their characters. And today, I want to show you a lot of those originals and their remakes. Also, big shout out to Rye the Pop Guy for the idea. Go check out his video down below. Of course, after this one, though. Now, some of you may be wondering, what are you putting on the table right now? Well, these are Funko's Pop Classics. For the 25th anniversary, inside of these vaults, they recreated a lot of those Funko Pops that we got back in like 2010 and 2011. And so let me show you what we've got in here. This one is Maleficent. It comes with a coin as well as a pin card and a recreation of that original Maleficent that released. Because for a lot of people, they don't have the money to go back and spend, you know, $200 to $300 on some of these Pops, but with these, you can get them so easy, like this original Captain America. Again, a really fun one. And now inside of here, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who this is. Let's find out together though. Oh, it's Rudolph. I actually kind of forgot they made this one. But either way, it is so cool that they took that original mold of Rudolph and redid it for one of these classics. And then the last one that we have here should be Batman, maybe? Oh no, it's Jack Skellington. Okay, they did create a Batman, I just didn't know which one was inside of here. To be completely honest with you, all of these classic vaults are the exact same. It's just the characters that are different on the inside, but I love all of them. But now this isn't all that we're talking about today, because there have actually been remakes of characters, not like just redoing the originals. And so let's go all the way back to number 3 in the Marvel line, and the one that I've got here is SpiderMan. It is the comic book version, and you'll notice it's got that original Funko feel, the arms to the sides, big head, small body. What a lot of those old Funko Pops looked like, and there's gonna be a reoccurring theme with pretty much everyone that I show you today. But anyways, getting back to Spider-Man, this is still a really fun character. Actually, one of the first ones I added to my collection, like maybe in the first 20. And so it's always been a character that I really enjoyed in the collection. But now, let's take a look at the new version of it, which was actually released for the 80th anniversary of Marvel. If you take a look on the back, you'll notice that it's actually based off of the original Spider-Man comic book, which is such a cool cover. And you can see right away some things that they've removed or changed from the original is the pose, as well as how the body's a little bit thinner. He's in a bit of a better shot. You know, it looks like he's jumping almost, and the kind of like webs under his arms. And a massive one is the way they did Spider-Man's eyes. They're not circular, they've got more of a mask look to them, which I think really elevates this character. The only problem that I'm having now is which character I enjoy more, because this one here is 100% pure nostalgia, but this one here looks a little bit better in my opinion, so I think, I don't know, they're kind of tied, I'm gonna be honest. Now everybody, we're getting a bit newer here, because the original one that we have is Toucan Sam. It released in 2017, so 7 years after Funko started making Pops, and in 2017, they were kind of steering away from that, you know, big head, small body, arms to the side, because he's literally a bird. And I feel like toucans kind of have a big beak like this anyways, and if you'll notice, the head doesn't turn, but I've got to say, it is a really well done figure in general. And when they released this one, I really didn't think they could make Toucan Sam any better until last year when they released this one here, Toucan Sam Flying. He's got his mouth open. It almost looks like he's yelling, "Follow your nose." It is just such a perfect character, and I feel like they somehow made him better than the original. And to be completely honest, I didn't think they were going to redo Toucan Sam just because of how great he looked, but it's probably because of how expensive it got after a while. It was somewhere like $200 to $300, and this one here on the top, you can get for like $15 now. Also, it's really funny to see that Toucan Sam was number 13 in the Ad Icons line, when the new one here is number 195, only a couple years later. Now, we talked about holidays earlier with Rudolph, and I've got another holiday character here, and the one that I want to show you guys is Buddy the Elf. The reason that I want to show this one off is because it's funny how old this character is. It released, and let me check on the bottom here, 2013, maybe even earlier. And something kind of unique about this character is that they actually put him into the Pop Holidays line. He wasn't in the movies. If you guys don't know, that's where all of the movie characters reside, in the movies line, of course, but for some reason with this one here, they went completely different. And I thought this one looked really great when I originally picked him up. I'm like, oh, it's so cool to have a Buddy the Elf in the collection, but then a few years later, they redid the entire set. Well, actually continued the set as well as redoing this original one here, and let's take a look at him because, come on, this thing is amazing. Now, there are so many different versions of Buddy that you can pick up, as well as so many different characters from the movie as well. And funny enough, the new wave released in 2017, actually when the original Toucan Sam first came out. But they've been creating more and more ever since, getting better and better every single time they do one. And I understand these are a little out of season, but I wanted to talk about them just because of how different they are. Now, next up, we have probably the biggest change in between two characters here. And let's just grab the first one. I feel like some of you guys might know who I'm talking about here. It is Stitch. Right off the bat, you'll notice this character looks weird. He's got a wide head, actually so wide that they had to put him sideways in the box. And I mean, I totally understand why this is such a weird character because it released back in 2010 when they first started making Pops. Like, it's so old when people refer to, you know, the big head, small body, arms to the side, black eyes, this is what they're talking about. Because even though they do it now, these were the originals for Funko Pops. And now, taking a look at the new one, you'll notice that it is practically night and day for these two. Like, the head looks 1,000 times better. The ears are pretty similar, but for some reason they made that original one so wide, it makes them look odd. That original Stitch is standing when this newer one he's sitting down, and I feel like it just makes a little bit more sense for Stitch because he seems to be sitting more often. I also think on the new one the eyes look a lot better, and not the black circles, even though they do look a little bit nicer when they're shiny. It's the way they did the bit around the eyes that just make a little bit more sense because the blue on the original, it's just too harsh in my opinion. I also love the teeth on the new one. The original one has these kind of like yellow chompers when the new Stitch has these white teeth with a bit of a better mouth. I feel like just everything in general looks a lot nicer. Okay, now these next two Pops that I'm about to show you only released a year apart. One was 2015, one was 2016, but the reason that I want to show you is because they are still very different. And you guys can see here, we have the 1966 Adam West Batman. This is actually in that classic Batman pose, like that original one that released in 2010. But of course, they repainted it to look more like that Adam West suit. And now, the one that I want to show you that is newer, the 2016 one, is actually the Surf's Up Batman. Both from the exact same show, but for some reason, they completely did a rehaul a year later, like the body looks completely different. And of course, the Surf's Up Batman has more going on, but if you look at the parts that are supposed to be the same, the Surf's Up one is 100 times better. Like, the nose looks a lot cleaner, the eyes are a lot better, the face is a little bit wider, that just makes it look a lot nicer. And if you look past the board shorts, you'll notice the colors on the suit are a lot better as well. There's just something going on here, and I really do like the updates. Also pretty crazy because these characters here are almost 100 figures apart. So there was definitely a lot that happened in this year, and it 100% shows. Okay, this is a really great one. We have Slimer from Ghostbusters. The reason that I want to talk about this one is because they made a normal version. This one released a long time ago too. Back in 2014, I had to check it just to make sure. And anyways, this is like that original Slimer, the first one we ever got of him. And I thought that this was such a unique character when they first released it. But then for the 35th anniversary, they redid him. And when doing so, made him even better. Because you guys might know from the movie, the Slimer loves to snack on stuff. You can find him eating off the snack cart in the hotel. And for the Funko Pop, he's actually got a bunch of hot dogs. And actually, you know what? Now that I'm taking a look at the two of them next to each other, they are kind of similar, but the way that they updated the character, I feel like it makes it look a little nicer. The eyes look a little bit cuter, even though the Slimer isn't very cute in the movie, as well as the way they did the slime on the bottom looks a little bit, and the best way I can describe it is oozier. Or maybe a better word would be slimier? I don't know. And speaking of snacking, I have another really great character here, and the one that I'm talking about is ScoobyDoo. This one released back in 2016, and I actually remember when these started hitting shelves, I needed to complete the entire set, and I believe I have them all now. You know what, taking a look on the back here, yes, I do have all of them. And anyways, taking a look at the ScoobyDoo Pop, you can see it's just kind of like him sitting there, he's got his tail, it looks nice, don't get me wrong. But when you take a look at the 50th anniversary version of the ScoobyDoo, you can see they really did a complete overhaul on him. But when you take a look at the 50th anniversary of ScoobyDoo, you can see that they did a complete overhaul on him. He's standing on his back legs, he's got his tongue sticking out, he's holding a giant sub in his hand, and I think that this is just such a nice upgrade. Especially because when they recreate a character, I like to see more going on than just the exact same mold, slightly different, so to add the sandwich, which is a perfect part of Scooby-Doo, really does look great. shape. And now, everybody, the biggest glow up of them all. We have the original Darth Vader. Taking a quick look at this one here, you can see this doesn't really look like Darth Vader. I'm gonna be honest. It's a nice pop. Don't get me wrong, but when you see the new one, you're gonna be like, ooh, yeah, I like the new one. But again, going back to that SpiderMan, I think that this is kind of one of those nostalgia figures, just because I remember picking this one up in stores. It's got that original big white text at the bottom. It's just one of my favorite ones. But now, taking a look at the new one that they did not too long ago, actually back in 2022, you can see, I mean, come on, guys, they are completely different. I also love how they redid the box for this one. They did it all blacked out like this, and they did it for every single character that they released for Star Wars Celebration. So it would have been, let me try to remember them here, Luke, Chewbacca, Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, and Leia. I think we're the 5. All of those are the original characters that released back in like 2010, 2011, but completely redone. I mean, come on, they all look amazing. And it's funny, now that I'm looking at the 2 versions of Darth Vader, I really did grab the exact same mold, just redone a little bit. And of course, the face is the main redo here, where they don't have those normal black eyes like those original characters have. They made it fit a little bit better with this mask and how it actually looks. And well, everybody, there we go. That is all of the old and new Funko Pops that I have for you today, and I hope that you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow!